Welcome in. Today we are asking Spirit all about their 3 a.m. thoughts, why they can't stop thinking of you. Pile 1 explores a connection that grapples with conflict of the mind versus the heart. Pile 2 highlights a divine counterpart and obsession dynamic. Pile 3 focuses on a journey of ego death and healing when it comes to you. And Pile 4 tells a story of deep regret and the opening of vulnerability. Take a deep breath. Which one is calling to you? Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelly. All of my pick a card readings are timeless, so whenever you find this, a message will be ready for you. Before we dive in, please hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a message. If you're new to pick a card readings, here's how it works. We have our 4 piles that you can choose from. This is pile 1 with a blue opal. This is pile 2 with a hematoid quartz. This is pile 3 with a red aventurine. And this is pile 4 with a green calcite. I'll give you a moment to meditate on the cards. Close your eyes, hover your hands over the screen, and see where you feel a sensation. Do not feel limited to just one pile. If multiple piles are calling to you, there's likely multiple messages waiting for you. Trust your intuition if it's telling you to stay a little longer. Remember, tarot is about current energies. You have 100% free will. If a message feels heavy, use it as an activation to change your path. I'm here to offer gentle guidance for your mind, heart, and soul. Once you have chosen, scroll down to the description box or the pinned comment for your timestamp. Hi, Pile 1. If you chose this blue opal, this is going to be your reading about their 3 a.m. thoughts. Why can't they stop thinking about you? So let's get started with your tarot cards. We're getting the Page of Swords, the Queen of Wands, the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Wands, Justice, and the 3 of Swords. So actually this immediately paints a very clear picture for me. There's 3 swords cards here. Page of Swords, Queen of Swords, and 3 of Swords. So they're very much in their mind about you constantly, whether that is from the communication that they had with you last or the communication that they want to have with you. The Swords cards are related to the air element, and the air element is about ideas, communication, intelligence. So this person is a very logical person, and they try to logic their way into thinking that they don't need you or that you weren't valuable in their lives. But every time they try to convince themselves of that thought, of that idea, they just return back to the 10 of Cups feeling that you gave them. So the 10 of Cups is showing me that you brought a lot of harmony into their life. This is a divine love that they feel for you, and they felt like when you guys were good, your relationship was very blissful, that you guys were in alignment. But however, we have the 10 of Wands right after that. So there has been some burden or extra responsibility in this relationship as well. And the reason why they are up at 3 a.m. and they can't stop thinking about you is because that's when their responsibilities quiet down. That's when their mental energy starts to kick up because they're no longer distracted by the responsibilities that they have to do. So the weight of what they have said to you or what they haven't said to you starts to become so heavy that they can't ignore it. So they start just looping and cycling about what they feel about you. We have the Queen and Page of Swords here. So the Page of Swords develops and grows into the Queen of Swords, in my opinion. I always see the Page, Knight, Queen, and King like a court. Obviously they are. It's like the princess, the prince, the queen, and the king. So the Page of Swords naturally would grow into a Queen of Swords type of character. And the Swords characters, in my mind, are very logical. So Pile 1, they're really awake at 3 a.m. because they are tired of actually pretending that their logic is enough to dismiss the weight of how much they actually miss you. They are stubborn as well. I could definitely see that in the cards because it seems like they haven't really reached out. They're trying to find a balance at this time before reaching out. They feel like if they reach out right now, you might just cycle through the same arguments that you had right before you stopped communication. So again, with the Page of Swords and the Queen of Swords, I can also see that they see you in that light and they think that you aren't ready to talk to them, or that you might have harsh words or direct communication to them about their decisions or their choices. Because I'm definitely sensing that there had been some type of misunderstanding or miscommunication here. There might have been also a major disagreements on a certain thing regarding your future because of the Ten of Cups here. The Ten of Cups is talking about a happy family, a happy home, having a family together. So maybe potentially you guys were talking about the future and planning for the future and you weren't really agreeing. So that's what I'm seeing of why they can't stop thinking about you. There's something about that last conversation that you had that has them up at 3 a.m. in their thoughts. So let's go ahead and now move on. Whatever ended your relationship or put a pause on your relationship is really weighing on them, and you could see that in the Three of Swords. This card actually talks about heartbreak and emotional pain, sorrow, grief, and hurt. So everything that you guys have gone through, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, all of it is coming up into their mind at 3 a.m. and it's starting to really weigh heavily on their heart. They feel a lot of heartbreak when they think about you. And I'm also sensing that this person is quite unemotional because other than the Ten of Cups, we don't really have other Cups cards. So I really do feel like they keep going into that logical or unbiased opinion every single time that they think about you. They may even try to affirm themselves to stop thinking so much about you. For example, they could just be focusing more on their work or the things that they have to do in relation to their responsibilities rather than dwelling so much on the situation until 3 a.m. when they just can't ignore it any longer. It's really when that 3 a.m. comes and it's silent, everything is silent, is when they hit that breaking point. So at 3 a.m., I very much am seeing that they're likely stalking your social media or even rereading old text messages or conversations that you guys have had. The reason why I see that is definitely because the Page and Queen of Swords. Again, this is very airy energy, and actually the air element does rule over things like social media. So I do sense that there is some social media stalking when you guys are not talking at those late hours. They really can't stop thinking about you because they always have used their head to try to solve problems in their life. And that typically works for things like work or maybe their business or other things in their life where logic can solve your problems most of the time. But when it's this type of relationship, when it's a heart matter, logic is not going to be able to fix a heart matter. I genuinely see that they see you as a Ten of Cups of their life. You are the ultimate happy ending for them, and there is a major contrast between the dream that they have of you and the future that they want with you and their current lonely reality. I don't see you guys in communication right now, and I see the lonely reality that they're living on a day-to-day basis is what is shown here in the Three of Swords. And you can really start to see that this is weighing on them because of the Ten of Wands here. As you can see, this person is a skull. It's not even a person anymore with trees growing out. So to the root of their problems is the fact that they're feeling very burnt out by the situation at hand, which is not speaking to you anymore. So that is the why behind their exhaustion. They're really caring a lot when it comes to you. And I'm starting to see that it's becoming physically and mentally taxing for this person. They're totally at a breaking point, and I do sense that if they cannot handle anymore, they might override their logic and reach out. And I also sense that beyond everything else that, oh, actually, you know what? The Justice card is related to the air element in Libra as well. So there's a lot of air energy here. So with this as well, the Justice card is really suggesting that they feel a sense of karmic debt or balancing needed in your relationship, whether it was more skewed on your end or more skewed on their end. They feel like it's off balance, which is why you guys are not in current contact. They are realizing the cause of either their past actions, their coldness, because the Swords cards does represent coldness as well, and logic has really led to this effect of you guys not speaking or being at distance with each other. And they are currently weighing out the idea of reaching out. Is it fair to reach out? Is it balanced to reach out? Is this person going to receive it well? They really like to think about these things thoroughly before going forward because they don't want to be embarrassed either. There's a sense of that. All right, so that is actually all I can see in the tarot story for right now. Let's go ahead and move on to your oracle cards and get more information for you. So I do have a hidden truth for you. I want to tell you how I feel, and that is so resonant with all the air cards that we're getting. The air cards do represent communication. So whatever communication you guys had last is really lingering on their mind. They probably aren't very proud of what they said, what they did, and they now want to rectify that. They really want to tell you how they feel, and I sense that a lot of how they feel is the fact that you are the 10 of cups of their life. Again, 10 of cups talks about divine love. So they may have never felt this way about anybody else but you in their entire life. And this is also talking about blissful relationships. So again, when you guys were good, you were really good. This is also talking about harmony and alignment. So they feel like naturally who you naturally are and who they naturally are is actually very in harmony, very in alignment. So genuinely, what I am getting from this pile is the battle of the mind versus the heart. They feel so deeply for you. They have never felt for anybody else, but at the same time, they're such logical people that they stop their own selves from moving forward. So now at 3 a.m., that's all they can think about. How much they love you, how much they feel for you, how much emotion you bring up in them, when probably most of their life, most of the things that they have to do in life, and most of their friendships, their connections, don't bring that much emotion out of them. Again, I don't see that they're very emotional people. Other than the 10 of cups, there is no cups here. So I'm really sensing that you are the outlier in their life. You are the person in their life that actually evokes an emotion out of them. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Ooh, last quarter moon in Aquarius, reflect on your priorities. Oh my gosh. So what I'm getting out of this is actually they probably put other things above your relationship while you guys were connecting. And this card is really suggesting that they are slowly realizing that they didn't have the right priorities. I believe that they are trying to get more grounded so they can work out what actually really matters to them. That's when the 3 a.m. thoughts come up again. I think while they're busy with their regular life, they are prioritizing work or prioritizing other things. They're really deeply determined to do a good job in those fields, so they don't think about you so much during the day. But when that 3 a.m. comes, they start to realize I can only think about my pile number ones. And so when they come to the conclusion that they did not allow them to put the appropriate amount of time towards you, the appropriate amount of energy towards you, and the appropriate amount of focus towards you, they are going to start realizing that their priorities were off. So with also the last quarter moon being in Aquarius, Aquarius is again a very unemotional sign. Aquarius is also an air sign. So that's very resonant with the Page of Swords and the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is technically related to Virgo and Libra in the tarot, but if we were just thinking about the air element, the Queen of Swords could represent Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So that's really another confirmation here that they're very logical people. They're very in their mind type of people, but you have activated their heart. So there's really that mind versus heart connection that they are grappling with at this time. There is a conflict. So this is something that they're going to have to resolve, and they're going to have to reprioritize in their life to be able to get your attention back, be able to get back into your life. And they're realizing that at 3 a.m., their entire attention, their entire focus is actually on you. So once they get a chance to speak to you again, I'm really sensing that they are going to show you these things. That's what they want to tell you, that they have prioritized things in the wrong way and that they actually would like to put more energy and effort towards you. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward. I did pull a goddess oracle to see what type of goddess do they see you as, or what type of goddess is protecting over your connection. We're getting the number one here. This is Goddess Ain, and it says adaptability. So with adaptability in relationships, that's so important. You must be adaptable to everything in life, to be honest. That is one of the strengths of being a human being versus, let's say, an animal, because we are very adaptable. We have to adapt to our environment, and which is why we're at the top of the food chain when technically we're not the strongest animal. We are actually one of the most intelligent animals because we can adapt. We know how to do X, Y, and Z to adapt to the current environment. So with this goddess coming up, I'm sensing that they are very adaptable people as well. So the goddess of adaptability is here and watching over your connection. They are realizing that they have to change to make this relationship work. So they are really up at 3 a.m. thinking about how can this relationship be different? How can this relationship be better? How can this relationship be more meaningful, more full, more connected? Because I am sensing that there was a little bit of a coldness in the relationship. Because if they have air signs in their chart, let's say Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, maybe a little bit less for Libra because Libra does like connecting with other people. But if they were putting their connection energy towards maybe their business or their job or whatever it is and not putting as much towards you, they're going to realize that they're going to need to adapt and put more energy towards you. So adaptability actually is a superpower. Remember I said that humans are very, very adaptable, which is why we're at the top of the food chain. They are going to take that quality, because I sense that they are actually very adaptable people. They're going to take that quality and try to bring it towards you and this connection. I'm getting the feeling of being sick of thinking of you at 3 a.m. and not actually communicating anything, which is why I want to tell you how I feel is here. And I'm really sensing that. Oh, you know what? I just remembered this is actually a shapeshifter goddess. Yes, that's right. I remember that this is a shapeshifter goddess. Her myth is that she can move effortlessly between Earth and her world, which I think is some type of fairy world. And she can move back and forth between those two worlds very easily. So, what I'm sensing from that metaphor, that story, that myth, is the fact that yes, they can be very adaptable at their job, they can do very good at their job and really kill it, or any other responsibility that they have, but they can also put that energy, that ambition, that drive towards you and the relationship, and they're starting to come to that conclusion. So sometimes I think all of us, but specifically this person with the 10 of Wands here, has a difficult time trying to respond to life's challenges. So they just go ghost and need a time to themselves, potentially because they're holding on too tightly to their logic, or they're holding on too tightly to how they think this should have played out, or whatever it is, or even just their unemotional nature. However, they're starting to open up to things and really realizing that the way they have been responding to this current challenge that you guys are having is not moving the needle at all. So they're really wanting to move the needle in some sense. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our oracle cards. Okay, this is actually the sacral chakra. I always butcher this chakra, so I don't want to actually try to pronounce that. What I'm getting with the sacral chakra coming up is that you were their source of almost a muse, because the sacral chakra is the chakra of creativity, pleasure, abundance. So actually, another thing is you probably very much turn them on, okay? I want to keep it PG here, but definitely you're somebody that very much turns them on, because this is the pleasure center of the chakra system as well. Also, this is another thing. The sacral chakra is also talking about our creativity, our creative projects, right? So this person probably feels very creative around you. Maybe they like to dress up more when they go see you. Maybe they clean up their home or their space, or decorate their space for your presence to come in, or just your presence in their life in general has activated that creative sacral area of their life, or simply they are turned on by you. So I'm definitely seeing that, and I do want to keep it PG so I won't go deep into that, but that is where our pleasure center is. Also, I could see that maybe this person lives their day-to-day life in a very rigid way, a very logical way. But when you come around, maybe they're more inclined to dance, because dance is a form of creativity as well. So maybe you guys have danced in the living room together, or maybe you guys have painted something together, or did some type of art together, or maybe they even write poems about you, or they sing along to songs when they think about you, potentially love songs, or they listen to more music when you guys are not in connection. I can see all of the things coming through, but I also sense that potentially when they're around you, a burst of energy comes. All right, and I also did pull a self-care oracle to see what self-care would benefit this relationship the most on both ends. Number 55, write a gratitude list. Perfect. So with that coming up, write a gratitude list. I'm really sensing that over time, maybe your guys' relationship got bogged down by responsibilities or just the general busyness of day-to-day life, that you forget how much you actually mean to each other. So writing a gratitude list, both you and the other person would really, really benefit from that. When you live in a frequency of gratitude, you actually bring more things to be grateful for into your life. So I always recommend saying aloud or writing down 3 things that you're grateful for every single day. And honestly, even if you feel like your life is full of challenges, try to reframe your mind, your brain, to think of those challenges as things to be grateful for. I know it's not easy, The brain actually doesn't know when you're lying or saying a truth or not. So basically, fake it till you make it. So be grateful for your challenges as well. While you're in the challenge, obviously it feels really difficult, it's challenging. Maybe disappointments are coming up. But the thing is, once you get past that disappointment, once you get past that challenge, you become a stronger person. So even if we're talking about the challenge of you guys not really seeing eye to eye at this current moment in time, if you write a gratitude list about even being grateful for the challenges, but you don't have to start there. You can also start with things that you are genuinely grateful for in your life. There is always something to be grateful for. Things are going to improve. Life is hard work, to be honest, whether it is emotional hard work or physical hard work or literally your job is hard work. Everything in life is going to require effort. Through that effort, you're going to get through challenges and become this stronger, better person that is constantly improving. So I highly recommend writing a gratitude list and also just having a mantra. I am grateful. So if you really, really struggle with writing down 3 things that you're grateful for, you can just try to bring the energy of gratitude into your life by repeating quietly to yourself throughout the day, I am grateful. I am grateful. I'm grateful. You will start to realize that things that you're grateful for or things that are happy come towards you and pull towards you when you're constantly reminding yourself of that internally. The only thing that you can actually fully control in life is your thoughts. So to call in those grateful vibes, those good vibes, I really do recommend writing down a list or saying it out loud. But if you can't, just try to control your thoughts. Everything starts in the mind. Remember, I told you guys TEA, T as an acronym, thoughts, emotions, actions in that order. So your thoughts are the beginning of everything. So really reflecting on any past challenges or difficult situations to try to uncover the lessons that you learned is the blessing. The lesson is the blessing. So feeling gratitude towards all those lessons is how you get to where you are now. And you're always going to have challenges in life. So trying to practice gratitude really shifts you actually back to the present moment and realizing how divinely orchestrated your current reality is. Every challenge brought you to where you are right now. Alrighty, that's actually all I have for you today, Pile 1. If this message resonated with you, please give me a big like down below. I would love to see which pile you chose, so drop an emoji or your pile number in the comments below. Remember, when you interact with the reading, you are claiming this message and bringing the energy closer to your reality. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to join our community of beautiful souls. I post new pick a card readings every single week, so I hope to see you here again soon. Until next time, sending you love and light. Namaste. Hi, pile 2. If you chose this Hematoid quartz, this is going to be your reading. Let's go ahead and get straight into your tarot cards. The King of Cups, the Page of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, the Devil, and we have the Three of Cups. So we have a pair here. We have the King of Cups and the Queen of Cups. So right off the bat, what I'm sensing is they are up at 3 a.m. with thoughts of how you are actually their divine counterpart. These are counterparts. So this is the King and Queen of Cups. Your relationship was very, very emotional, and emotions can be very addicting. And we have the addiction and obsession card here, the Devil. So the Devil does talk about things like attachment, addiction, obsession even. So with that being said, I'm sensing that your relationship, your connection is very addicting to them. They are very obsessed with who you are as a person because you are their divine counterpart. They see a lot of themselves in you, and they see a lot of you in them. So with that being said, I'm really sensing that they're trying to control themselves right now. They're trying to not allow themselves to speak to you at this time. There's a sense of not being sure how to move forward, so they don't want to move forward prematurely. So they're up at 3 a.m. because they finally are realizing that you're the only person that really touched their heart the way that you have. And because you're the only person that ever touched them the way that you have, they're really stuck in this devil energy of obsession that they can't really seem to get themselves out of. So this person lays wide awake at 3 a.m. because there's so much high level of emotion in this relationship. The Cups cards really is connected to that watery energy, which is all about the emotions, intuition, the relationships, the connections, even healing and the subconscious mind. So they're very deeply embedded in this connection emotionally. So the King of Cups is actually typically representative of an emotionally balanced king, somebody that's very compassionate and diplomatic. So this is their natural self. And with that being said, I'm sensing that your relationship probably got very emotionally heavy at some point, and maybe things that were done and said were of regrets them. They may have acted very emotionally unbalanced in this relationship, which caused the drift. But I sense that when you guys were connecting, there was a lot of passion in your relationship because we have the Page of Wands here as well. And she talks about inspiration and ideas, limitless potential, free spirit, and discovery. So I sense that your connection really felt freeing to them. They felt like it was limitless. They felt like you could take on anything together. And with the Queen of Cups being here, they see you as a compassionate person, so caring, very emotionally stable, intuitive, and in flow with your life and the way that your life is going. They also saw this relationship as a long-term sustainable relationship because that's what the Seven of Pentacles talks about. The Seven of Pentacles usually is talking about things like earth, physical, career, money, stability. However, in a love reading, in a relationship type of reading, I'm sensing that they saw that long-term potential in you in this relationship. They saw you as a investment. They saw you as something that could persevere through time. And also the Devil card here also relates to the earth element. So there is a lot of earthy element in here. This is connected also to the Capricorn sign. So they may have Capricorn in their chart, or you may also have Capricorn in your chart. And also because of the water signs, you may have Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or they may have Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces in their chart as well. I'm sensing that there is this addiction towards you when it comes to the way that you guys hung out, like simply the way that you guys hung out, the way you guys celebrated things together, even the way you guys hung out with friends together. There's just this element of celebration because we have the Three of Cups here. There's also a sense that, oh, you know what I'm channeling from that? People could third wheel with you guys and feel totally comfortable because this is looking like a third wheel situation. Like the King of Queen of Cups are just hanging out and they have like their little sister or one of somebody's little sister with them, like one of you guys, or potentially a little brother, or just a friend that you guys have that are mutual, and nobody feels uncomfortable. Everyone feels very comfortable with you guys because you guys are that watery element, are that kind element. So you really have an intuition about you to not do things that might make other people uncomfortable around you because you guys are so compassionate, so caring about the people around you. Both of you show compassion in your energy. So you guys almost attract a lot of people towards you in your life. With the Devil card coming up here as well, this shows me more about what might have happened in your connection. Your connection might be currently tested by ego or even self-control. Similarly, I'm also sensing that you guys are emotional mirrors. So maybe if one of you were having a bad day or a bad period of time, it spreads to the other person in a sense. I'm really sensing that your emotions really bounce off of each other. So when you guys are really good, you're amazing, you're great. But if somebody's having a bad day or a bad week or even a bad month, that could probably seep into their energy very deeply as well because the water element, or just think about water. Let's say you put a drop of coloring into a glass of water and you don't stir it or anything. It's just dropped in there. It's going to slowly make its way through the water and the whole water will be colored, right? So that's what I'm sensing with your relationship. That element of adopting each other's feelings, even if you don't want to. So that could have been what caused issues in your relationship. And so they're trying to rectify that at this time. I'm also sensing that the Three of Cups being here, you both probably have a lot of friends. You both probably really like to get together with friends and laugh and be merry and have a lot of celebrations, but there's something missing. When they are not connected with you, they're up at 3 a.m. thinking about how they're mourning that lighthearted feeling that they have with you because no other connection is quite the same. Even if they have other friends that make them laugh until their stomach hurts, there's no quite same reaction from them as they get with you. So they're really dealing with that, grappling with that, cycling over the thought of that no one else feels quite right because you are their divine counterpart. I really love seeing a king and queen on the deck when we're talking about love readings because it really just show me that there is a divine counterpart element in this relationship. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. I'm really also sensing with the Devil is popping up at me here is showing me that there's this really, really intense addictive pull towards you. So it's hard to stay cool around you. So if you guys were to end things, or if you guys are currently not speaking, not officially together, and you guys have mutual friends, it's very difficult to act like you're nothing around them. So if you guys were both invited to some type of party or get together, some type of celebration, or just a hangout, and you guys are not currently speaking, they feel very restricted. They feel they need to have you back. It's hard to stay just diplomatic because, again, the King of Cups does talk about being diplomatic. So it's hard to stay baseline with you. It's hard to be just diplomatic and pretend like you guys are just friends. That's not going to work for them because there's that addiction element, there's an obsession element with you. So there's not casual elements here. They are very, very much wanting to hash something out here. And again, with the Seven of Pentacles, talking about things like long term views, they see you as somebody that they could have been with for the rest of their life. This is talking about marriage potential. So when you guys break things off or you guys aren't speaking, this is very difficult because they see you as their lifelong partner. So it's hard to not speak to your lifelong partner when you've already constructed an entire thought process of this person, which is you. So it's not really healthy for them, which is why I feel they're staying up later than they should be, and they're looping thoughts way more than they even thought that they would. And with the Cups cards coming here, they're very emotional people. So looping in those emotions is trying to weigh down on their health. Okay, so that's actually all I have for the tarot portion of the story. Let's go ahead and move on to your oracle cards and see what we can get. I did pull a Hidden Truth Oracle for you. You came closer than anyone. I'm not surprised that we got this card because you are somebody that represents their divine counterpart in their minds. They really see you as no one can match your energy. Remember, I literally was just saying that if they're hanging out with other friends, I don't care if their friends are making them laugh till their stomach hurts. There's no quite feeling like when you make them laugh till their stomach hurts. And I really sense that you guys do have a lot of moments like that. It's really sweet. I'm seeing it in my mind's eye, and I'm also seeing childlike energy when it comes to you two. There's definitely that connection that goes beyond this lifetime, honestly. I just got full body chills. I'm sensing that you guys have met before in previous lives. And something that I've learned about this is there's always going to be karmic residue from past lives. Karma can be good too, but for this, there is karma that needs to be reconciled. So for each of my pal twos, this is a collective reading, it's going to be different. So there could be things about jealousy. There could be things about being obsessed with the other person. Maybe even dependent on the other person to an extent. So these are karmic residues potentially from previous lives that need to be healed, need to be worked through, cannot be avoided. So they need to be addressed. And I do sense that you guys are very, very much mature and capable enough to get through these things. However, it takes time, it takes reflection, it takes really wanting to change out of your own free will, not wanting to change because you think it'll satisfy the other person, not wanting to change because you feel society will approve of it. You want to change, you want to grow because of your own free will. That's the only way that this is going to work. So both people need to address those things. And I'm really sensing that this is not a bond that's going to be easily broken. So don't worry about that. I just would recommend focusing as much as you can on healing, focusing as much as you can on analyzing the subconscious mind and why you may even be having this conflict. What part did you bring? What part did they bring? And how can it be reconciled if you guys do choose to speak again? Which I honestly think that this person's so obsessed with you, so addicted to you, that there's no way that this silence will continue very long. So let's go ahead and move forward. Last quarter moon in Sagittarius, practice gratitude. Love that. So Sagittarius is known to be a very optimistic sign, and they're also explorers and travelers. So maybe you guys are exploring, traveling, adventuring on your own to get your mind off of this, but also practicing gratitude on your day-to-day is very important. I miss days here and there, but I try to live in an energy of gratitude. So when I experience things throughout my day that are pleasant, whether it is a nice conversation with a friend, a nice conversation with anyone that I encounter, and it's a really pleasant conversation, I like to say out loud, I'm really grateful for you. I'm really grateful for this conversation. And that just brings more good conversations into my life. And if I attain, let's say, even a material item that brings me a lot of joy, I will immediately express my gratitude for that thing. I'm grateful for this item. I'm so glad that I get to experience this item. And you could extrapolate that out towards anything. If I cook an amazing meal, I say I'm very grateful that this meal turned out so good. So any little thing, just verbalizing it, I'm so grateful for this. As the moment comes up, you start to realize how much things there's to be grateful for. And of course, I do try to just stay in the general gratitude frequency. So if you're not practicing gratitude already, I do recommend and suggest and encourage you to write down things that you're grateful for every single day, or at least verbalize them as you're going throughout your day. As you are having that gratitude, more of your wishes, more of the things that you dream of are going to come into your life for you to be grateful for, because the universe wants to give you more of your frequency. So when you're trying to change your frequency, you have to start with the thoughts. You don't go straight to actions. I've talked about this many times before, almost all the time, every single reading. The way that you can organize life is thoughts, emotions, actions. T. So thoughts start it all. Thoughts will affect your emotions, and your emotions will affect your actions, and it's all tied together. And your frequency changes when you start controlling your mind, controlling your thoughts. Everything is trying to battle for your attention. Everything is trying to battle for your mind space, your thoughts. So the news is there to create fear, and other things are there to create distraction, whether that is social media, the television, whatever it is. And I'm not saying that you should never watch TV or ever scroll on the internet. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that your attention is so important. Your thoughts, the quality of your thoughts is so important. And I'll give you a direct example, because obviously I am not perfect. I never claim to be perfect. And I like to share what I know, what I've experienced, so it can help you in your life. So for example, sometimes I come across a short or a YouTube video where it's talking about something largely negative, but I am sucked in. I am curious about it. I want to know. So I don't want to be so totally out of the loop that I don't know anything that's going on with X, Y, and Z thing. I'm not going to bring up any certain thing here, but I immediately feel the drain on my energy, and I feel how hard it is to pull away sometimes from negativity or from something that is scary or fear-based. So I have those moments too where I get emotionally sucked into that. But because I'm very emotionally sensitive, very intuitive, I get very affected very quickly. So I might only be sucked into that particular post or news thing for 5 minutes, but it literally affects my entire being, and it takes me 15 minutes to center myself and get out of it. So over time I've started to realize that I need to avoid it as much as I can and just get the base surface level of what's going on, so I'm in the know of what's going on in the world, but not getting completely sucked into it. And instead, to combat that feeling, I try to be grateful, and that's what I suggest to you as well, because when you're open to gratitude or in the feeling of gratitude, that means you're open to manifesting the dream life that you have in your mind. You're really getting in touch with your mystical side when you're being grateful, because you're pulling gratitude energy more closely into your life. And that's going to get you closer and closer to manifesting your dreams. Again, I do want to mention that Sagittarius is very optimistic. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. I did pull a goddess oracle because I wanted to see what type of goddess is protecting over the connection, or what type of goddess this person sees you as, or what goddess they see within themselves, even if they're male. All right, we're getting Goddess Hera. Actually, this is number 21 in Alliance here. 21 is 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 is actually a very spiritual number. It's the number of transformation, change, and just so many spiritual things across all different traditions. It means a lot of different things in a lot of different traditions. So it's hard to get into it all. But with Hera, actually, she has a very interesting story. This is the wife of Zeus, and she is a goddess that realizes that positive alliances really lead to having an accumulated amount of power. But the difference between just having a great alliance and power is also having a loyal one, because Zeus has cheated on Hera many, many times, and it becomes to this point where it had affected her personality. She is known to be negative, and she could have a better sense of self-worth. And you could say that they're actually in an unhealthy power dynamic, because he was betraying her many, many times, and she was faced with the evidence of his many betrayals as well. And I don't love talking about these topics on my channel, but that is her story. So with this card coming up, I'm sensing that you guys maybe have dealt with betrayal. The devil card is here, so the temptation does come up. But if that does not resonate and you have not got the evidence for that, don't worry about that at all. Because again, one thing of her stories is that she comes upon the proof of his betrayals. So if you have not come upon any proof of it, don't go looking for it. You would already know. But this could just symbolize potentially somebody who's abusing their power or even perpetuating a myth here that that should be accepted. So that could be some type of reason here. It could also signal that you or the other person may have stayed in a disrespectful relationship. It doesn't have to be betrayal in a cheating sense, just the constant disrespect even, or the emotional nature of a relationship that could get intense because you felt the alliance served you in some way, such as giving you security or status. So with this goddess coming up, Hera just wants you to know and be aware of these potential traits in yourself or your connection and be empowered to choose the right thing. Choose relationships and partnerships that have that deep mutual respect, encouragement, positivity. And I do see that you guys do have that in your relationship, but there may be times where things dip in and out of your relationship that are a little bit more toxic. So with that goddess coming up, I'm really sensing that that message had to be said, but I'm sensing that it's something that can be rectified. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to your next oracle card. Ooh, we're getting tapas. Okay, so this is actually a yoga card. This is a niyama and it represents self-discipline. So with self-discipline coming up here, you have gone to wherever you are right now because of your discipline. You are a self-disciplined person. The other person that we're talking about is also self-disciplined. So I'm sensing with the 3 a.m. thoughts, they may also be thinking that I'm typically a disciplined person in my life, but why can I not be fully disciplined when it comes to this person? Why can I not be fully disciplined when it comes to my thoughts of this person, my feelings of this person? Why can't I stop thinking about this person? Because my discipline has gotten me to many, many places. However, I'm not really being able to wrap my head around this particular dynamic where my discipline is off. So I'm sensing also with this discipline card, because discipline always sounds like a punishment or some type of heavy word, but it's not. It's actually just a representation of you committing to bettering yourself, you committing to becoming the better version of yourself, the highest version of yourself. So the next phase of your involvement comes from being disciplined. And I'm sensing that you both are going through some deep transformation right now with the discipline card coming up. It's going to take deep discipline to get to the next phase of your relationship to heal this. And again, I did channel karmic residue from past lives. So essentially, there is things to be worked through in that realm of trying to deal with those karmic things. But I'm sensing that you guys are very disciplined people that are committed to changing, to growing, to bettering your lives. So ask yourself, what are you committed to? What do you want to put your discipline towards? What do you still need to commit to and put your discipline towards? What does your daily routine look like? How can you improve that daily routine? What can you do in your day-to-day life to become a better person, become the highest version of yourself? And also with Hera and self-discipline here, I'm sensing what type of boundaries do you need to set up in your life to align with your truth? And also, are you showing up for yourself the way that you would for a friend, a family member, a child? Because all of these are very, very important. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. I did pull a self-care oracle to see what type of self-care is best for this pal. We're getting massage, number 34. And so that's telling me that actually maybe your body is in pain, maybe potentially due to the stress, this particular connection and its current state. But I'm sensing that a professional massage, if you could swing it, would be very, very beneficial for you at this time. Or even sitting in one of those massage chairs if you have one, or if you know someone with one. Or also, if you go get a pedicure, usually they have massage chairs. So maybe just indulging in that, because I'm sensing that there's tension in your body, potentially in your neck, your feet, which can represent feeling if we're thinking about Pisces, but we can also represent action if we're thinking about the movement of feet. But also your lower back seems to be maybe a pain point if we're looking at this card. But massaging it out is massaging out the tension in your life as well. So I'm feeling that When you fully relax your body and you fully feel peaceful in your body, potentially that is actually going to change this relationship as well. And this could also be a message for the other person. Maybe they feel a lot of tension and pain in their body because of this relationship and how it is currently not where they want it to be. So I'm really sensing that you guys actually can really move forward in this relationship, but it's going to take discipline, it's going to take time, it's going to take being grateful for your current circumstances in your life, even the challenges that you guys face. But I do sense that this connection is so deep that it will pull itself back together and have an opportunity to at least discuss these things. All right, so that's all I actually have for you today, pile number 2. If this message resonated with you, please give me a big like down below. I would love to see which pile you chose, so drop an emoji or your pile number in the comments below. Remember, when you interact with the reading, you are claiming this message and bringing the energy closer to your reality. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to join our community of beautiful souls. I post new pick a card tarot readings every single week, so I hope to see you here again soon. Until next time, sending you love and light. Namaste. Hi, pile 3. If you chose this red Aventurine, this is going to be your reading. So let's go ahead and get into your tarot cards. We're getting the Magician, the 8 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, 7 of Cups, Temperance, and the 4 of Cups. All right, so actually what I'm sensing with this pile is they're in deep reflection about this relationship in general, but especially when 3 a.m. comes up, because that's when their mind gets quiet. That's when things around them get quiet. So this person is doing some serious soul work. They may even be going through a dark night of the soul when it comes to you. I'm sensing with this pile number 3, is they're awake at 3 a.m. thinking about you because they're realizing that no matter how hard they work in their life, no matter how many distractions they put into their life, they really are not able to run away from this fact that they need you. There's a sense of need here. They feel like when you left their life or when you guys are not in contact, there's a space left behind. So they're constantly thinking about that space that is gone because of you. There's this void in their life because you're not there. So this person is in the thick of a massive spiritual ego death. This person is really trying to stay busy to avoid the pain, but 3 a.m., there's nothing else to be busy with. Everybody else is asleep. This time is really forcing themselves to be honest with themselves. It's really a time where they're really having to think about the version of themselves that they were with you and the version of themselves when they're not with you, and realizing that it is a major difference. All right, so when we jump into the tarot cards, we can see a lot about this connection. They may have even felt like they manifested you. They may have even felt like you bring a lot of power into their life. You bring a lot of inspired action into their life because of the Magician card here. The Magician is able to manifest things. They're resourceful. They have a lot of inspired action, creativity, success, power, everything you can think of. This card is related to Mercury and air energy. So that quick energy, because Mercury moves very fast, air energy moves very fast. So this relationship also could have moved very fast or had a lot of communication. And also, when we move on to the 8 of Pentacles being next to the Magician, it really suggests that this person has been very much throwing themselves into work or even trying to level up their life to distract themselves from you. But that's not working. This is a total failure because it's not actually distracting them. They just always think back to you. So this person is really just somebody trying to busy themselves away from this connection, but they're just always getting back to this point of disappointment because they can't stop thinking about you. They don't actually even want to stop thinking about you. They just think that that's the only thing that they're able to do. They really are trying to manifest a reality where they don't need you, but I'm really sensing a need here. I know that's a little intense, but that's the only time I got that in the pile so far, the sense of needing you. There's this deep need of you. And they can't stop thinking of you at 3 a.m. because this connection actually confuses them, which we can see in the 7 of Cups. When you're not around, life seems boring. Life seems it's full of apathy. They don't really care about the things that are happening between them. So maybe even if they're pouring themselves into work and work is actually blossoming for them, business is blossoming for them, they're able to attract a lot of things, manifest a lot of things, be very resourceful, and even attract a lot of abundance into their life. It seems meaningless because what does it matter if I attracted all this money and I don't have anyone to spend it with? because they could take themselves to nice dinners, they could take themselves to vacations, they could buy themselves nice things, but all of that is meaningless, all of that is empty, all of that is void when it's not with somebody they actually love. What's the point of going on a nice vacation if they don't have anyone by their side? What's the point of going to a nice dinner if there's only silence to eat with? So there's that sense here really coming in. They're bored with their life. They don't care to just work like a little ant and not have anyone loving to share that with. There's really a loving element in this deck showing that you brought that healing energy, you brought that loving energy into their lives, that beautiful energy that they're craving at this time. I'm also sensing with the Seven of Cups here, they are potentially somebody that has a lot of options. They are potentially somebody that has a lot of options in life in general, whether that is love connections, whether that is business connections, whether that is just places that they can live for some of them. They sense that all of these options don't really feel meaningful. It doesn't feel like having a success if they have a lot of options. It more feels like wishful thinking when it comes to their life compared to what really is their wish come true, which is you. I feel they have a lot of their focus on you. So also, I'm sensing the number 80% just came up in my mind. When they're working, potentially, they're only giving 80% of their energy into the work. They're only able to give that much because their bandwidth is not fully there because of the issues between you two. And they're trying to find a balance. I'm definitely seeing that trying to find a balance here, trying to figure out if you guys can reconcile. They're trying to heal. They're trying to find even angelic guidance because that's all the things that the Temperance card talks about. The Temperance card is connected to Sagittarius energy, which is typically an optimistic sign, but it's also directly connected to the fire element, which is a spiritual element actually, and it is represented by willpower. So they have a lot of willpower. This person has a lot of willpower. They are people that can manifest very easily. So let's say this person wants to take a creative opportunity or idea and turn it into something tangible. This person can make that manifestation happen very quick, maybe within a couple months or definitely in a year or less. This is somebody that has had that mastery in a lot of different fields. This person likes to do repetitive tasks. I can see that as well. And also just a lot of different opportunities in this person's life. They are talented. They potentially are angelically guided already. And they're just realizing that those 3 a.m. times when they can't stop thinking about you, those 3 a.m. thoughts when they can't stop thinking about you, when they can finally get into that deep contemplation and meditation that shows here in the Four of Cups, they get really emotional. They get really in a point of reevaluating everything they said, everything they did. So again, this person has really tried to busy themselves to get away from your connection, but they can't. They just can't. They're almost going through an ego death because things typically come very easily to this person. This person has a lot of options, but because you either are not coming easily back into your life, you probably are not forgiving them as easily as they thought that you would, and they didn't think that you guys would be out of contact for so long. This is a spiritual hit on their ego because they're realizing not everything goes their way all the time, but just because things have gone their way in the past doesn't mean that they will always go their way. So it's really that sense of being disappointed here. All right, so that's actually all I can see for the tarot portion of the story. Let's go ahead and move on to your oracle cards. I did pull a Hidden Truth Oracle. It's time for me to heal now. I really do sense that they're stepping away completely from this connection, really pouring themselves into work, pouring themselves into the physical realm. Also, for some of them, they may really enjoy fitness. So potentially, if you don't resonate with your person being this business guru type of person that is doing all those type of things and taking on creative opportunities, potentially they are people that just pour into their own body and their physical vessel, which means that they are working out a lot, maybe taking double the amount of workouts that they usually do. And that's really telling me here that they are really trying to distract themselves. The need of getting away, hiding the truth. Why did I say hiding the truth? Well, this is a hidden truth oracle, but there's a deep truth that they're hiding by avoiding it. They're just avoiding it. They're just trying to avoid the situation in general. And I just heard stale. I heard stale. So essentially their life feels stale in a sense. That's a funny word to channel, but that's what I'm getting. Stale bread, stale chips. There's something stale about the life when you're not there. And that really represents here because this card talks about boredom and apathy. So when you're not around, things suck. When you're not around, things are great. Even my energy right now is flat. I just feel like that's a direct channeling from the quantum field of their energy. It's just so flat. It doesn't even matter if a full rainbow is in the sky. It doesn't matter if everything is going on, all these choices, all these options. People even potentially throwing themselves at your person that you're thinking about if they are a gym rat. People hitting on them, throwing themselves at them. None of it matters because it's just, there's a void. There's definitely some type of void here, and it's not working because they want pile 3, and that's not available to them at this time. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. Full moon in Aquarius, be real. Oh my gosh. So the full moon brings a lot of emotions and even release. So I'm essentially seeing with this card here that they haven't been very honest. They haven't been very real. They may have even, how do I put this? Made you seem you were not very important in their life. They may have made you seem they're not really that affected by the connection not currently being together. And maybe if you guys are still friends on social media or looking at each other's social media, you may think that they don't even care because the things that they're posting, I just channeled somebody walking a dog. So maybe they just post things like that. They're walking their dog, they're doing their workout, they're doing this in work, they're creating, they're doing all these things. And it seems like they're fine. They seem successful. They seem like they've let go of the past. But the truth behind all of that is they're thinking about you at 3 a.m. and they can't even sleep. They're up late at night thinking about you, cycling through the connection. So the truth here is that they're getting to a point where they want to be more real. They're getting to a point where they want to actually be honest with themselves because that's the only thing that matters in life, the honesty and living your life in alignment with who you actually are and having every single part of you in alignment, your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, all in alignment. Because when you're thinking one thing, which is, oh, I love this person, I really want to be with this person, but your actions have absolutely nothing to do with showing that, it's going to cause this disparity in your spirit. And that's not a very comfortable place to be, which is why they're up at 3 a.m. thinking about you. I feel they're healing and the need to heal with Temperance here, because Temperance does talk about healing as well, and this saying it's time for me to heal. I do sense that they need this time though, so there's no reason to rush this timing, but I do sense that they're coming to this breaking point because they're doing internal audits every night at around the 3 a.m. time where they're just feeling that void and they're really wanting to rectify that void. And they're starting to slowly realize that the only way to rectify a void that's created by a person is potentially fixing the issues on their end so you can connect back with that person. And hopefully you two are better, higher versions of yourself when you connect again. I'm also sensing, actually, that with the Be Real card here, it's even not for all of you, but I'm starting to get uncomfortable and I have to channel this out. Sometimes people will start pursuing someone else or something else for all the wrong reasons, egoic reasons, and before they know it, they're chasing something that isn't right for them. So potentially for some of my pile 3s, your person may be distracting themselves with a rebound, or even maybe not a person rebound, but just working as a rebound, or just some type of energy of rebound is coming up. But that's why the Be Real card is coming up, because they're realizing that they're not living their life in a real way. They're not living their life truthfully. So it's starting to weigh on their spirit. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on. I did pull a goddess oracle for all of you because I wanted to see which goddess comes up in your relationship, protects the relationship, or what they think you represent, or potentially what they have in their spirit, even if they are male, because we do all have male and female spirit and energy in us. Oh, Kuan Yin, I love Kuan Yin. And this is the goddess of compassion and mercy, actually, number 27 here. 2 plus 7 is 9. So if that resonates with you, here it is. So Kuan Yin is a goddess that has major compassion, major mercy. She is so forgiving and she releases any needs for you to be perfect. So maybe that's how they see you. Even though this person has effed up, I'm really sensing that they have effed up and even brought suffering into your life. You are somebody that is quite mindful. You're somebody that doesn't judge too harshly, with Kuan Yin coming up here, and you do try to be compassionate and understanding, so long as this person's honest with you. But I think that's one of their major lessons in life, and that's why they're going through a spiritual ego death, because they're used to just jumping from one relationship to another potentially, and they thought that they could do that with you, but you're different than other people, so they can't actually do that. They don't feel it's working. And I'm sensing that when they move on from one person to another, it's a knee-jerk behavior. behavior because that's just what they've done in the past and what's worked in the past, and they're easily able to forget about people they've connected with in the past, but not you. So there's really that sense of depth in your relationship. This goddess also is a goddess that actually originally was shown in Indian Buddhism as a male figure, but then the Chinese created her as a female embodiment, and then also it spreads over to other countries, Vietnam, Korea, Japan, but it's all about this energy of being compassionate, being forgiving, having mercy for your fellow human beings, and to try to alleviate that suffering, doing what you can and doing random acts of kindness and just being forgiving. It really does actually make a difference in the world. So I'm sensing that because you might have potentially brought that energy into their life, the mercy, the compassion, they can't stop thinking about you because they don't potentially have a lot of people that give them mercy and compassion or are very kind to them, which is why they just move from one person to another, one place to another, knee-jerk reaction like I channeled. So I'm really sensing that that is so important to them in their life. You're an example in their life. So I'm really sensing that it's hard to let you go. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. Ooh, Dumavati. So this is a deity card. So very opposite, but also similar because this is actually the goddess of disappointment and letting go. So they're very disappointed by not having you here. They're very disappointed in the fact that they might have to grapple with letting you go. But I think they are slowly, especially with the 3 a.m. thoughts, realizing that they can't really let you go. That's not very easy to let you go because you have very much got deep into the structure of their being. And with this card coming up, this shows hardships, this shows struggles. So those things were brought onto your path for a reason. They made you who you are today. And I have talked about this on my channel many times before. Challenges are something that we should be grateful for. Obviously, while you're in the challenge, it feels very difficult, it feels very hard, it feels very debilitating. But at the end of that challenge, you become a better person, you become a stronger person, you become a more compassionate person, you become just a more well-rounded person because you went through that difficult thing, that challenge point in your life. All of it is necessary, and honestly, in my belief, all of it was planned to an extent. You do plan out your lessons in life. I do believe that. I believe in reincarnation. I believe in all of those things. So I do believe that we are given lessons on a purpose. And if we don't learn these lessons, then we get the lesson again until you learn it. And it just becomes more and more blatant, more and more hard every single time. So letting go isn't a bad thing. Learning your lesson isn't a bad thing. It makes space for something better when you actually let go and learn and try to learn your lesson, because you will probably get another lesson. We all will. But you're making space for more knowledge, more wisdom when you're learning your lessons. So Dumavati coming up here also shows me there's a lot of pain and struggle in this person's being when it comes to you. There's a void, there's this need. Actually, what I'm channeling is you are their lesson. Just simply put, you are the lesson. They're realizing, is this how I should be treating people? Maybe they didn't care how they treated people before because they didn't care that much about the person, but because they care so much about you and the way that they have treated you up until this point is not really great. What I'm sensing there potentially is some energy of disrespecting you. So they're healing at a cellular level. They're letting go of toxic traits that they might have been holding on to for lifetimes in this time. So just letting this person go through that is really, really important. I do think that they're going to come around. Okay, so I also did pull a self-care oracle for each pile to see what is the best thing for either you or the other person or both. Family, number 23. So, I'm channeling a lot here, but 23 is 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 is the number of change. So this person is opening up to being willing to change at a really deep, deep cellular level. They're going through major spiritual upheaval. They're going through spiritual death, dark night of the soul, ego death, whatever you want to call it. I'm really sensing that because this person has lived their life on an autopilot, just repeating lessons, not really learning the lesson. But when they came upon you, you felt like family to them. And they are coming to this realization, is this how you treat people that you love? Is this how you treat your family members? Is this how you treat people in general? And they're realizing that, no, this is not good. This is not how I want to be as a person. This is not what I want to do in my life. And it's starting to weigh deeply on their spirit. And I'm also sensing with this card coming up, another thing I'm channeling is families have drama. And you can bend and bend and bend a family relationship, but it won't break entirely. I know some people don't talk to their families. I know some people would disagree with me in that notion, but I really do feel the family bond is a lot stronger than a lot of people give it credit for, even in this modern day and age. So having peaceful relations actually with your family, whether that is biological or chosen, is really, really important. Families can really offer that sense of unconditional love. I know, for example, I'm so blessed that I feel that from my family. I haven't been the most easy throughout my life, and I still feel I'm loved and accepted there. And I don't necessarily feel that way between all friendships that I have. I feel sometimes my friendships can be conditional up until an extent. They don't fully accept all of me. But for my family, I do feel like they accept all of me. So there's that sense there that you might have given this person so much compassion that they just felt your family to them, because it's almost like they can't F up. And I'm not saying that they didn't hurt you, that they didn't make your emotions spike and have all these difficult lessons, but there's a sense that you are quite forgiving and compassionate, that they have accepted you as family, and you're really changing them. You're changing them through the power of love. And that's so, so beautiful. And it's just finding that peace, finding that love in a person can really start to transform negative things, negative toxic behaviors into a better thing. Practicing that forgiveness and showing unconditional love can really change a soul at the soul level. That is so beautiful. I love this message so much. And I continue to give you so much encouragement to keep going on your path and taking care of yourself, spending time with family, spending time with the people that show you unconditional love, because it seems you do give it out very, very much, pal 3A. I really love that. I love it so much. And actually, that's all I have for you today, pal number 3. If this message resonated with you, please give me a big like down below. I would love to see which pile you chose. So drop an emoji or your pile number in the comments below. Remember, when you interact with the reading, you are claiming this message and bringing the energy closer to your reality. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to join our community of beautiful souls. I post new pick a card tarot readings every single week. So I hope to see you here again soon. Until next time, sending you love and light. Namaste. Hi, pile 4. If you chose this green calcite, this is going to be your reading. Let's go ahead and get right into your tarot cards. We're getting the 4 of coins, the 3 of swords, temperance, 2 of swords, ruler of cups, which is the king of cups in this particular tarot deck, and the 8 of cups. A lot of emotional energy here, because we do have the king of cups, we have the 8 of cups, and the 3 of swords, which is a heartbreak card. So 2 emotional cards, and also the 3 of swords, which I see as an emotional card as well, because it does talk about heartbreak, emotional pain, sorrow, grief, and hurt. This person is in deep pain right now. This person is really going through it at 3 a.m. because they're thinking about all the things that potentially happened in this relationship and how painful it is to not have you in their life. The energy actually of the green calcite is about soothing the heart and releasing any old patterns and rhythms that you have in your life. So that is potentially why you were attracted to the green calcite. You may need heart soothing at this time. You may be releasing a lot of toxic patterns, either you or the other person. This reading off the bat feels like a person that has been trying to be strong, has been trying to hold it together, but they're finally getting to this point, especially at 3 a.m., where they're admitting to themselves at least how much they've lost when they lost you. Pile 4. I feel they're awake at 3 a.m. because they're realizing all the walls they built up around their heart to keep themselves safe is what pushed you away, is what leaves them alone in the dark at 3 a.m. with all of these feelings, realizing that completely their heart belongs to you, but they don't act that way. They just feel it on the inside and don't act that way on the outside. I'm also sensing that this person is in a deep, deep state of withdrawal, which we can see here in the 8 of cups. This person is not withdrawing because they don't care, even though it seems that way on the outside. You may also be friends with each other on social media and this person completely went ghost, whether they blocked you, deleted you, or they don't post at all on their social media. And that's because they're in this deep, deep state of escaping, withdrawing. They're so disappointed. They're feeling abandoned even because of this relationship. They went completely ghost. And that's because they care too much. They're afraid of being vulnerable. When it comes to loving somebody this much, there's a lot of vulnerability in that. At 3 a.m., they aren't just thinking about you. They're feeling, ooh, the song Ghost by Justin Bieber is coming up right now. They're feeling that ghost of your presence. And I'm getting chills right now because I haven't heard that song in a long time. I'm going to play it after this because it's a good song. Even though it's sad, I do like my sad music. After I've gotten more spiritual and emotionally sensitive, I can't listen to it as much because I start getting so emotional, but occasionally I like to indulge. So that's a really good one, the Ghost song by Justin Bieber. If I had to use one song to sum up what I feel in this palette, it's definitely that song. Take a listen to that song if you haven't, but don't indulge too hard because I feel you guys are also in the thick of your emotions, so you might not want to fully dive into that, but maybe that's healing for you. I remember back when I wasn't as emotionally sensitive and doesn't completely take me over, I would listen to the sad songs to release. I would listen to the sad songs to cry it out and release. And I'm also sensing that that's what they're also doing at 3 a.m. I do sense that they have their moments where they're sitting in silence, but they have their moments where they're listening to sad songs too and feeling through the music. But I sense that in general, because they're so withdrawn right now in their day-to-day life, even in the daytime, forget 3 a.m., they're at this very lonely cross point in their life because they have to choose. They have to choose to rectify this with you, or they have to choose not doing that and being lonely because there's this sense of something needs to be forgiven in themselves before even reaching out to you because you guys have a soul merging love between you two. And they're at that crossroads of feeling a deep regret because potentially they're regretting not being vulnerable with you and not telling you how much they love you. Let me show you why I see this. The Four of Coins is typically a money card. It talks about earth, physical, career, money, stability, all those things. But in the sense of a love reading, I'm always going to skew it towards emotions, connection, and love. I'm sensing that they're holding their cards close when it comes to emotions. This card typically talks about saving money, security, conservatism, scarcity, and control. It's Sun and Capricorn energy. Instead of using money to control it, they're trying to control their emotions and hold their emotions close to their chest. And we already went through this in the beginning. This is talking about heartbreak, emotional pain, sorrow, grief, and hurt. Saturn and Libra energy, they're feeling that deeply in their spirit right now. And they're trying to find balance with the Temperance card coming here. At night or in their lives or through withdrawal, that's how they're trying to find that balance. They're trying to be patient with themselves, trying to forgive themselves to a certain level because they do realize their part in it. This card does talk about healing as well. So I'm sensing that there's a need for forgiveness from them to themselves, but also from you to them, because I'm sensing that they potentially did something to cause this relationship to be on a stall, and they're trying to find their spirit and what their spirit is saying to them. This card is represented by fire and Sagittarius is typically optimistic, so they're trying to find their optimism again. And the Two of Swords here shows me that they're at this point of weighing up their options, the crossroad, the impasse, and avoidance even, and having those difficult decisions that it's easier to just avoid things. You just go ghost, withdraw. Every single night they're thinking between just letting themselves be lonely and holding on to their pride, even holding on to their invulnerability and not reaching out, versus realizing how much they love you, opening up to that vulnerability and reaching out. And then we do have the King of Cups here, which shows me how emotional this person is, because the King of Cups is obviously the king of emotions, the king of the water element, the king of intuition, relationships, healing, subconscious, connection, the king of that. Typically, when they're in a good emotional state, they're naturals at this. They're emotionally balanced, they're compassionate, they're very diplomatic to the people around them. And I'm sensing that because their light is gone at this moment, because they're not with you, they're not associating with you, that's why they chose to withdraw, because they know they can't show up as that emotionally balanced person, that compassionate person, that diplomatic person when they're feeling this way. They don't want to act short with people. They don't want to I heard dirty the relationship with other people because of this relationship not going well. Instead of doing that, they'll just sit in their disappointment. They'll just withdraw and escape into themselves. And it's a sad sight that I'm seeing, because this person is usually happy, usually full of light and more social, and they're more calm, a calm and cool energy. But I'm sensing that they're not fiery people, but they connect easily with other people because the water is talking about connection. They very much make people feel comfortable when they are around this person. They're very warm. There's this warmth to them. There's this kindness to them. There's this acceptance that gets off their aura. People love that, but they feel they can't act that way and be that way and give that to people right now. They chose to withdraw. They're going through a deep time right now, and the best way that they know how to deal with it is to just be within. That's actually all I have for the tarot portion of the story. Let's go ahead and move on to your oracle cards and see what we can get. I did pull a hidden truth oracle here, so oh, I feel you even though we are apart. That's what I'm saying with the King of Cups energy. They're very intuitive. They may have psychic powers. So they could have Cancer, they could have Scorpio, they could have Pisces. The sense of being connected to the quantum and feeling you and understanding that your emotions are there. Your emotions are there with them. So anything that you're feeling, they're feeling as well, and it amplifies it. They may not have words to describe their intuition and their connection to this quantum. They're just going to adopt all these feelings as their own. They're going to think, oh, these are just my feelings. However, the thing is, it's the direct conflict with you. It's the direct feelings that you might potentially be feeling that they're also feeling. With this, I feel you even though we're apart. I'm sensing that, especially when everyone else is asleep, because when people's energy is dormant when they're sleeping at 3 a.m., not fully dormant, obviously, but they're more into their subconscious, unconscious, and they're not actively thinking. There's not as much mental energy in the quantum. So that's when they can feel your energy. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward. We're getting full moon in Pisces, forgive. Hello. So full moons are very, very emotional times for releasing, and Pisces is a very emotional sign. He could have, or the person that you're thinking about, it doesn't matter, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, but I'm thinking Pisces is in their chart somewhere. Pisces is a very forgiving, compassionate sign, and what I'm sensing with this card coming up is that they deeply need to forgive themselves, they deeply need forgiveness from you. I'm sensing that they're very guarded people typically, and especially right now because of the Four of Coins and the Two of Swords. This is guarded energy here, even having scarcity mindset when it comes to protecting their ego. This person also likes to control their environment, is what I'm sensing from this, which is why potentially things need to be forgiven, because they may have been very defensive about their emotions, their space, or something along the lines of that. They just can't stop thinking about you, especially at 3 a.m., and it's starting to turn into an ache. And this is nothing that they can ignore. And I'm also sensing that they're coming to a point where they're tired of even beating themselves up by these deep feelings that they're having. They need to forgive themselves for having such deep feelings. I'm sensing that they are trying to keep their hearts safe, but with all of this avoidance, they're breaking their heart more. There needs to be forgiveness in that energy as well, because I feel they're very hard on themselves. Okay, I also pulled up a goddess oracle card just to see what type of goddess is protecting over your relationship, your energy, or how they see you, or potentially the goddess energy they have within themselves at a obviously smaller scale. If this is a male we're speaking of here, he'll still have goddess energy within him. Okay, this is Goddess Yuzume. This is the humor goddess. I actually really like this goddess, so let's talk more about her. Number 50 here, 5 plus 0 is 5. 5 is a number of change, travel, movement. So I'm sensing that their energy is moving, they're changing, and also you guys have a really good time together. There's that need for not only forgiveness, but humor in the life of this person again, because I'm sensing that this person needs release. This person is currently very, very heavy. You can see that with the Ruler of Cups, the emotional energy there, and the Eight of Cups, just that escapism. I'm sensing that they're awake at 3 a.m. because they're carrying all this weight of things that were unsaid, unforgiven. They are stuck now in this heavy, serious energy, while the universe is actually trying to nudge them towards temperance, forgiveness, and humor. What that means is they can't stop thinking about you because they miss the lightness that you brought into their life. They miss the joy that you brought into their life, the true laughter, the belly aches that you brought into their life. And that would be the best medicine for their current sorrow. But the thing is, you guys are not currently in connection, not currently in relations with each other. But they can't stop thinking about you because you are truly a part of them. There's a sense of they love you so much that they're experiencing part of their soul in you. And what that means is once you love somebody, once you're so connected to somebody in the way that you two are, you merge souls in a sense, and that you become one. You start finishing each other's sentences, you start feeling each other's feelings, all these beautiful things. This is the beauty of connection. The sense of even potentially wanting to reconnect with you because they feel like on a certain level your energies merge from all of the time you spent together. This person is also a person that just is very intuitive. So they can sense when you're with them how you're feeling. But even if they withdraw from you or you're not in the same room, they can also still feel all these things. And this energy of being able to feel you pulls them back towards you. I'm sensing that every time they think of you, this goddess card is really pulling up. They don't even think about the bad times so much. When they think about the bad times, they're thinking about their energy of what they did that was bad, or what they said, or what their actions were. But when they think about you, they think about the humor that you brought, the lightness that you brought. They always return back to that. They don't have resentment towards you. I think what it is they have resentment towards themselves, and that they need to forgive themselves for the things that they may have chosen to do or say. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward. Oh, Radha, another perfect card for this pile. It's very interesting. This goddess is a deity, and this is the goddess of passionate love and longing, which is really, really resonant towards everything that we've been saying in the pile. They are up at 3 a.m. thinking about you, longing for you, and feeling you, even though you guys are apart, just thinking about your love, your laughter, your light. And there's this sense with this goddess card coming up that they are in love with you. They're so in love with you because I love this goddess. So Radha is the goddess of euphoric bliss of love, and that feeling of deep, deep surrender when you're in love, when you're looking into the eyes of your lover. She is a passionate lover. She is the lover to Krishna. So she never gave up on him. She gave up everything in her life to be with him. It's almost like this super devoted, super obsessive love, super passionate love, which we love to see here, honestly, on this channel. I love the goddess of Radha. Radha, she represents this desire. Oh, you know what? She actually represents that desire to merge with your loved one and even get lost completely in the utter ecstasy that is love. Love is the highest vibrational feeling that you could feel in the planet. That's why a lot of us are addicted to love. That's why my love readings do the best. Even if I try to do a reading on career or monthly predictions, whatever it is, I find myself constantly getting pulled back to relationship readings and love readings because it's just the highest frequency on the planet. And I just keep finding myself being attracted to that. And also you guys naturally love it as well. So it's just a natural thing. Everybody is desiring of love. And even if you don't desire love, it probably comes from being burned in love in a past lifetime or in the current lifetime that makes you scared of it. But we can't run away from it for long, honestly. None of us can. Love is just that thing that just keeps pulling all of us back. And with this card coming up, it shows me that they have lost themselves in the fact of losing you, because I felt while you guys were connected, they already lost themselves in you, in the dance of love, in the dance of romance. Just experiencing that feeling that I was mentioning earlier of experiencing your own soul in another body, that's shown again in Radha. I'm sensing that they potentially are leaning towards being afraid of how deeply they feel, afraid of love, and afraid of the deep vulnerability that comes with that level of love, that level of sacred union. When you fall this deeply in love with somebody else, your entire heart feels it's on the line. Your entire heart feels it's just being carried by another person in another person's hand and totally out of your control. So that is a very scary thing. This person is exceptionally scared of opening up to that level of vulnerability. But if they were to open up to that level of vulnerability, I'm sensing that this is their point of enlightenment, because I love love, okay? And I'm just channeling straight from the heart here. I just feel love is so divine. Love is just a high, high frequency. And it's not easy to decline love, because when you're declining love, you're essentially declining yourself, because you are love. This is so beautiful. I'm sensing that they're very deeply emotionally connected to you, and I don't think that they can stay away for very long. And then finally, I pulled a self-care oracle. I wanted to see what self-care would be best for each pile, whether you or the other person or both. Spend time with friends, number 49 here, that equals 13, which equals 4. That's a number of hard work, but it also represents the number of family. Spending time with friends is going to bring loving energy into this person's life and also loving energy into your life. So with this card coming up, I'm sensing that you guys are each other's best friend, best confidant, best everything, and you're not currently connected. But instead of withdrawing, this person is so withdrawn right now. They would benefit from spending time with friends, but I think that they're just not choosing that. But you could, with your energy, try to change and shift things by spending time with your friends, bringing loving energy back into your life in any capacity that you can. And that will slowly magnetize more loving feelings into your life and potentially help and aid the mending of this relationship. When one or both of you take a little bit of energy off of the other person, you free up a little bit more space and energy towards other things that feel a little bit more light at this time, because both of you are definitely feeling a little heavy with this relationship. But I'm sensing that this relationship is really beautiful. It is totally a gift. And you guys are people that are connected. I do sense that you guys will reconnect at some point. Alrighty, that's all I have for you today, pile number 4. If this message resonated with you, please give me a big like down below. I would love to see which pile you chose. Drop an emoji or your pile number in the comments below. Remember, when you interact with the reading, you are claiming this message and bringing the energy closer to your reality. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to join our community of beautiful souls. I post new pick a card tarot readings just like this one every single week. So I hope to see you here again soon. Until next time, sending you love and light. Namaste.